After 5 months, multiple attempts, all successfully failures, we're back at it now. Let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, we are now a video podcast. And to everyone who is listening to this on a podcasting platform, thank you so much for patiently waiting for so long. I tried to come back, but unfortunately, because of circumstances, because of what was happening here and there, I couldn't get back to podcasting, couldn't get back to bringing in new episodes. But from now on, I I promise that I'll try my best to post and be as regular as possible. The try being the keyword over there. And on that note, let me try and answer some of your questions. You guys have been really amazing, and I have noted all the questions that you have sent me. But unfortunately, I won't be able to answer all the questions in a single episode. So yeah, it'll take some time. And for the new folks here, I'll just digress for a minute before I get back to the questions. For the new folks here, you can go and you can send in your questions on Instagram. I'll post Instagram stories for the same. You can also send in your questions or your statements basically via Twitter. Just use the hashtag probability philosophy and tag me at Darklord Speaks. And the third alternative is you can just ask your question directly in the YouTube section's comment box if you are on YouTube, or else you can let go of your laziness a little bit and come to YouTube and comment what you want to, and click on that subscribe button, and that would be really lovely. And on the note of lovely, let's get into the questions. First question for today is why hate when you can spread love? How important is hate for survival? This question has been asked by @poems and pixels on Instagram. And I'd say that this is an interesting question. This is something that I used to think about a while ago, honestly, uh, because of how easy it is for love and hate to affect us, affect our being, and affected how we see the whole world. Now I'll start by saying that I'll just answer your second question first because it's a single statement. Love and hate are essential part of existence because love will have no value within itself without hate, and hate will have no value within itself without love. Both are like, I use this analogy a lot. The analogy of two sides of the same coin. They need to exist for life to continue existing, right? Now, but I'll go again and delve back a little, digress a bit, and talk about how love and hate affects us. Childhood is an essential part of everyone's lives. Accept it or not, we all go through childhood. I'm talking about it as if it's some kind of trauma, but for some people, it is literally trauma. And trauma basically doesn't mean going through bad things. Sometimes trauma can also mean not having good things. That can be enough of a push for someone to go into trauma. Now again, I like to say that lack of love is not hate, or lack of hate is not love. There is a gray area that exists in between, exactly, which words can't define, but it's a weird place to be at, to say the least. Right. Now, getting back to love. Love can transform a particular person's life in ways you might not even imagine, and so does hate too. Just opposite. It's think of love and hate as a spectrum, and you've got both things. One side you have got love, and the other side you've got hate, and how it affects you depends on multiple factors as to where you were loved, how you were loved, but more importantly, when you were loved. Because getting love at a wrong point of time can mean almost nothing, But at the same time, getting hate at the wrong point of time might also mean nothing. So timing is there's another another factor which plays another factor as to how it affects our existence. Now, you might think that I'm talking in pretty vague terms, and there is a reason for it. There is a reason for it. And the reason is that to state anything with weight or with what do you say, some form of heft, we need to understand what they are in the first place. And the problem with subjective things is that they are too varied to answer, and too varied to actually even term into what do you say, a definition. You can't define love or hate like you can define metal or you can define wood. I know that's a weird analogy, but yeah, it's difficult to define things which depend upon humans. Humans are weird, I mean, basically, to say the least. But yeah, how you define love or how you define hate depends on multiple factors. The primary one is your experiences, what you have gone through since you were born, since you have the last memory, what you've gone through. That affects your own definition of love and hate, and how you went through it and how you cope up with things. Now, it's not necessarily that we only cope up with bad things. We also need to cope up with good things. Just that a lot of times we don't realize when we are coping up with good stuff happening around us. So yeah, those are some things that I guess affects our perception of love and hate. Now, you also asked that how important is hate for growth of human life. I'd say that hate is as essential as love. Now, going back to the beginning, how I started, the answer is that love and hate are essential parts of human existence. Now, without love, there will be like no value for hate, and without hate, there will be no value for love. And I guess I mentioned this before. If I did, I'm sorry for repeating the same thing. I tend to forget stuff at times. Yeah, right. So the existence of love, and this is something I wrote a poem about recently. It's about existence, and if existence exists, I'd recommend you to read that. That should be out on my Instagram by now. Handle is at Dark Lord Speaks, right? So I'll let you think of what love and hate actually is, because I can't say anything from my side, because for me I value them both equally because of my experiences, because of my thoughts, no, my thought processes and my perspectives on them. Right. So that wraps up the first question. If you have any other like alternate perspectives of that question, feel free to comment down. Uh, I'd go through them. I'd reply. We can have a chat in the comment section. Feel free to do so. And if you agree with me, also comment. I'd like to see like a basic picture of you guys, of not you guys. I'd like to see basic picture of you. I mean, how you perceive things and how things are for you, right? So that was a weird way to end question, but yeah, let's move ahead. So the second question is asked by like Nishank for real. So he asks that everyone is beautiful versus some people are ugly, and that's totally fine. Which statement would you prefer? You know, there are two answers for this. Short answer, everyone is beautiful. Long answer, everyone is still beautiful. Just like I mentioned previously, subjective things have varied answers. And from my perspective, calling something or someone ugly is not necessarily bad, but I just prefer the word beautiful over it. Now, a lot of people might argue that Again, you might use the same analogy that I started off this with, coin analogy. For beautiful to exist, ugly needs to exist. Yeah, and I don't deny that. I never deny that. But again, beauty, we all have heard this at least a million times in all our lives, that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. And I just reiterate that right now, because that is how it is. There is another Latin phrase which is more of an umbrella phrase called esse est percipi, which basically means it is how it is perceived to be. So yeah, I perceive it to be beautiful all the way through. Alright, so there is this quote by Roald Dahl in the book The Twits. A really amazing naming scheme, I'd say. A person who has good thoughts cannot ever be ugly. You can have a wonky nose, a crooked mouth, and a double chin and stick out teeth. But if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. And this is something I live by. I remember reading the book The Twits when I was like a little child. Yeah, I basically say that it's how you perceive things. Things might look one way, but in reality they might be completely different. Right now, for the people who are watching this, you can see that I have blue coming from here, and I've got yellowish light coming from here. But in reality, it's completely difficult. My room is filled with white light, just blue, hints of blue, and it is just glittering out from one side. Now we can use the same analogy. Let's say that the white light stands for ugliness and the blue light stands for beauty, basically. So white is everywhere, but blue still shines on my face. That's exactly how it is. And I'm really sorry for the people who are listening to this. And I just want you to imagine whatever I just said. Half of my face is lit blue, and the rest of my face is lit white, which is think of Avatar, but half human. That's exactly how it is. But yeah, that's all I'd say on that. That's my take. Yeah, feel free to comment your takes. I'd like to know what you think about this. And yeah, I'll try and keep this short. I hope that you guys like this episode. Yeah, we have come towards an end. I do not want to stretch the episodes too long because of two reasons. One, we all don't have a lot of time to sit and listen to something or sit and see something. Second, it's easier for me to edit. And yeah, that's more of a driving force. But cool. Okay, I hope you guys like this. Like if you liked it, or dislike if you feel that this wasn't good enough, or if you feel that I could have improved on more. And I hope you have an amazing day.